13th annual Samsung Solve for Tomorrow STEM competition named their winner for the state of South Dakota, who will now compete at a national level. Tonight, Parker Brown introduces us to some hardworking students at Sanborn Central High School. It is our 9 o'clock top story tonight. Hello, Parker.
Hey, Brian. The annual competition is designed to help students in grades 6 through 12 leverage science, technology, engineering, and mathematics to address real issues in their communities. The students of Sanborn Central focused on a specific issue impacting farmers in the region. Students nationwide are learning and making an impact at the same time.
Problem-based learning is really about understanding the issue, looking at your toolbox to see what you have and what you need to learn to get there, and then trying. Sometimes failure is a part of it, but what we really challenge these young people to do is not to just study it in a textbook, but to go out, understand it, and try and fix for it, try and learn.
Samsung introduced the competition to get more students to use critical thinking and solve real-world issues, offering incentives of generous prize packages, including Samsung products.
As a state finalist, they won $2,500, and we thought that was awesome. And then to find out that we were a state winner and to win $12,000 in technology for our school, that is huge. I mean, we are a super small district, and $12,000 in technology is a lot for this school. At Sandborn Central, a small class of young men saw an issue that not only is affecting their community, but the entire ag industry. Fires on harvest equipment, which can destroy not only the combines, but ruin crops.
We found out that there's millions and millions of dollars lost yearly just from combine fires. I knew they were a problem, but I didn't think they were that big.
They eventually came up with a simple circuit with sensors that connect to a light in the operator's cab.
2 to 3 we'll put.
That photoelectric sensor hopefully will be able to send the signal early and give the operator a chance to not only escape but also put the fire out before it can cause too much damage.
They are learning things that they don't even know that they're learning. You know, they're learning those critical thinking skills, those problem-solving skills, thinking outside of the box and doing their own research.
The prototype?
It's working, yeah, it's right on the board.
Was a success, and now they need to perfect it and show it off, creating a video with the technology they won in the previous phase of the competition. Olsen Van Winkle says that she's excited for her students, and the class looks forward to representing South Dakota.
With this video, the boys get to tell their story and the story of a lot of people here in South Dakota. So I'm just really proud of them and excited for them to be able to tell the story of how big agriculture here is.
In the next phase of the competition, the students will submit that video to show off their project and how they're using STEM in March. If they're named one of the 10 finalists, they'll compete in an in-person pitch to a panel of judges in Washington, D.C. They have a chance to win even more prize money and technology. Brian?
Parker Brown tonight. Parker, thank you.